Good afternoon. I'm Rob Cantor, and welcome to Finding Stuff to Do Outdoors During the COVID-19 Pandemic. In today's episode, we'll be taking a walk into Busey Woods. So this is also a tutorial on how to take a walk in Busey Woods. What are we waiting for? The weather's perfect. Let's go. At the entrance to Busey Woods is this bridge over the Saline Branch. The Saline Branch is the west fork of the Salt Fork of the Vermilion River, which drains part of Champaign County and part of Vermilion County in central Illinois. At one time, it curved through the woodlands that we're about to walk through. What's left of the river in the woodlands are vernal pools, and we'll be exploring those with a dip net. We've reached one of the spots I was most anxious to get to today. One of the vernal pools created when the channels that flowed through the woods were disconnected from the Saline Branch as it was deepened and straightened in the early part of the 20th century. Now, I'm not sure I can narrate while I do this, but in order to get things out of the water, I've brought with me a dip net that I made from a leftover pole that was in my garage and a little aquarium net. And I've attached the aquarium net to the pole with zip ties, and I'm going to look into the pond from above and see if I can't find a fairy shrimp to catch. And then we're going to put it in a little clear container so that we can make pictures and video of it. We've got one in here. Let's see what it looks like in a container. One characteristic of Busey Woods that tells you it's a relatively healthy ecosystem, despite its small size, is the abundance of native plant life in the understory here. One of those native plants that's a favorite of mine is spice bush, and you can see that just over my right shoulder. It's beginning to flower right now. It's a beautiful kind of light yellow greenish flower, one of the first things that really brings the woods to life in the spring. I said at the outset we'd spend some time rolling logs today, and we're about to do that. I think you can see behind me on the ground, there are a couple of logs that are worth having a look underneath. So what we're looking for are logs that are starting to decompose a little bit and hopefully have some good contact with the ground. We want things that little critters feel secure under. I'm trying to stay on the boardwalk now because spring wildflowers are starting to show up. So I'm kind of leaning over here and we'll pull back this log. None of the salamanders that I was looking for. Not even an earthworm poking up underneath this. Kind of tuck the leaves back in around here just so it's not so obvious that I've been here. Of course, I didn't have the camera rolling when I moved this log over, but here, sure enough, is a smallmouth salamander. Let's go in for a closer look. Now, these guys spend most of the year underground,
and they come up only in the early spring to get together in the vernal pools here and breed. They lay eggs in the pools, and the eggs hatch, and the larvae, or little salamanders, grow up there. The trick for them is that the tadpoles have to develop into terrestrial creatures before the pools dry up during the summer.
Now, in order to put the salamander back under the log, I don't want to roll the log back on top of it. I'm going to put the salamander down next to where the log was, and then roll the log back and let her crawl back underneath.
Some of the woodland wildflowers are just beginning to bloom as well. What we're looking at here is cutleaf toothwort, but you can see the cut leaves if we zoom in a little bit there. And nearby, there's a little stand of trout lily coming up. And you can see the trout lily is named for the pattern on its leaf, which reminds some people of a brook trout.
I feel like all this vlogging is kind of getting to me now, so I'm going to spend 10 minutes sitting on a log listening to a chorus frog before I call it a day.